All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Over 53% of votes polled in first phase of Bihar Assembly elections. President Ramnath Kovind promulgates ordinance to constitute Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and adjoining areas. COVID-19 recovery crosses 90% in the country. Active caseload falls below 8%. Foreign ministers of Central Asian countries welcome $1 billion line of credit by India for development in the region. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Royal Challengers Bangalore by 5 wickets in Abu Dhabi. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. An estimated 53.54% of voters exercised their franchise in the first phase of elections yesterday in 71 assembly constituencies spread over 16 districts. In comparison to 2015 assembly elections, 1.21% less voter turnout was recorded. Chief Electoral Officer H.R. Srinivas said voting percentage will increase when the final figure from remote areas will come. Maximum 62.50% voting was recorded in Dhoraiya constituency, followed by 60.97 in Banka and 60.84 in Katoria assembly constituency. Out of 71 constituencies, 35 were in Naxal-affected areas, but no untoward incident has been reported so far. Most of the Naxal-affected areas' polling percentage is more than the last assembly elections. Meanwhile, campaigning for the second phase of state assembly elections has intensified. Star campaigners of the National Democratic Alliance and Grand Alliance are holding rallies across the state. Leaders of the Congress and left parties are also holding election meetings and road shows in support of their party candidates. The polling for the second phase will be held in 94 constituencies, spread over 17 districts on the 3rd of November. Senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed election rallies at Darbhanga and Muzaffarpur in Bihar yesterday. The Prime Minister said people of Bihar have taken a resolve to again defeat those who brought Jungle Raj in the state and who looted Bihar. Senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi addressed an election rally yesterday at Valmiki Nagar in West Champaran in support of the Grand Alliance candidates. He alleged that the NDA government has not fulfilled their promises made to the farmers. More from our correspondent.
Addressing an election meeting at Basantpur in Siwan region, BJP leader and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said NDA has emancipated people from caste-based politics. Seeking votes in favor of NDA, senior BJP leader and Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said during 15 years rule of RJD, youth of states were hiding their identity outside from the state and people were facing hardship due to rampant corruption. Exhorting people to vote Grand Alliance candidates at Lalganj in Vaishali, senior RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav alleged during Nitish Kumar-led government, unemployment and poverty increased. In an election meeting at Gopalganj, LJP President Chirag Paswan said prohibition and Sat Nishchay Yojana failed in state and this has become a tool of loot of government exchequer. RLSP President Upendra Kushwaha and leaders of left parties are also holding roadshows and rallies. With KK Lal's report from Patna, Sanjeev Jasotia, AIR News.
Elections are being held in 3 phases for the 243-member Bihar Assembly. Counting of votes will be taken up on the 10th of November.
In Madhya Pradesh, the mobile polling units are going door-to-door for the first time for collection of ballot papers. By-elections are being held for 28 state legislative assembly seats in the state. In view of the corona pandemic, the Election Commission has provided the facility to the elderly people above the age of 80, Divyangjan and corona-infected patients to vote from home through postal ballot. The polling will be held on the 3rd of November, while counting of votes will be taken up on the 10th of November.
There are around 1,18,000 voters are Divyang or above 80 years of age in the by-elections to be held in 28 seats in Madhya Pradesh. More than 66,000 voters are above 80 years of age. Out of these, around 19,000 elderly voters have given consent to vote from home. Similarly, there are around 52,000 Divyang voters in these by-elections. Out of them, 10,652 have given consent to vote from home. As per the information, overall 29,000 such voters have agreed to cast votes under the vote from home facility. More than 15,000 voters have cast their votes so far. The Election Commission has also facilitated corona patients to cast votes from home. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Leh, the 6th Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council will take oath on the 31st of October. The term of 5th LAHDC, Leh General Council term, gets over by the 30th of this month. Incidentally, on the 31st of this month, Ladakh is also celebrating the first anniversary of Union Territory status. Leh District Sessions Judge will administer the oath to the newly elected councillors at a special function on Saturday afternoon at Sindhu Sanskriti Kendra. In recently concluded polls, Leh voters have elected 15 councillors from BJP, 9 from Congress and 2 independents for 6th LAHDC, Leh General Council. BJP has gained majority to lead the Hill Council consecutively, second time.
President Ramnath Kovind has promulgated an ordinance to constitute a commission for air quality management in the National Capital Region and adjoining areas. The Commission will work towards better coordination, research, identification and resolution of problems surrounding the Air Quality Index in the NCR and adjoining areas. It will consist of a chairperson, a representative from the Ministry of Environment, members from the state of Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan, technical experts from the Central Pollution Control Board and Indian Space Research Organisation, among others. The Commission will have the powers to take all such measures, issue directions and entertain complaints in order to protect and improve the quality of air in the National Capital Region and adjoining areas. It will also lay down the parameters for emission or discharge of environmental pollutants from various sources. India has achieved a significant milestone in its fight against COVID. The national recovery rate has reached 90.85%, with overall recovery of nearly 72,60,000 patients so far. The recovered cases in the country stand at nearly 12 times more than the active cases. Nearly 59,000 patients have recovered and were discharged in the last 24 hours. The new confirmed cases reported in the same time span stood at nearly 44,000. The active caseload of the country has also fallen below 8%. The total positive cases in the country stands at 6,10,803, which comprises merely 7.64% of the total reported cases. With a high number of COVID patients recovering every day, along with a steadily falling and sustained low mortality rate, India's trend of registering decreasing active cases continues. The Health Ministry said the fatality rate stands at 1.50%.
The recovery rate of COVID patients in Delhi stands at 90.33%. The city recorded the recovery of 4,128 patients in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of recovered patients till date to 3,34,240. A total of 5,673 new confirmed cases of coronavirus were reported in the national capital during the last 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID cases in the city has reached to 3,70,014. The Delhi government confirmed that 40 deaths have been reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total to 6,396. The total number of active cases in the city now stands at 29,378. In view of the upcoming festive season, Uttar Pradesh government is going to launch special campaign for focused group COVID testing from today to break the chain of corona infection. The campaign will continue for the next 16 days in the state. The state government is regularly appealing people to maintain social distancing and follow the COVID protocol. More from our correspondent.
These tests are going to be conducted on those persons who will come in contact with general public during upcoming festive season. Karwa Chauth and Diwali are two major festivals which will attract a large number of people to the market and other places. Today, on the first day of campaign, auto drivers and rickshaw drivers will be tested. In the same manner, other groups like workers at mehndi shops, beauty parlors, malls, electronic shops and places of worship will be tested in coming days. Meanwhile, the recovery rate from coronavirus infection in his state has further increased to 93%, which is higher than the national average. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 95.40%. This is 4.40% more than the national average. The number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. Currently, 8,776 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. In all, 1,073 patients recovered during the last 24 hours, while 780 new cases were reported. Over 2,04,317 patients have recovered from the infection in the state so far. In Chhattisgarh, the number of COVID-19 patients is steadily decreasing. In the last 1 week alone, more than 15,000 patients in the state have won the battle against the infection. Details from our correspondent.
In Chhattisgarh, the number of active corona patients on 21st October was about 25,800, which has now reduced to about 21,700. Among the 15,000 patients recovered, about 2,000 patients were treated in COVID hospitals or isolation centers, while about 13,000 patients have undergone their treatment in home isolation. So far, more than 150,000 corona patients have recovered in the state. The recovery rate in Chhattisgarh has increased to almost 87%. The death rate is about 1%. More than 21,000 samples are being tested daily in the state for identification of persons infected with coronavirus. So far, more than 17 lakh samples have been tested in the state. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Gujarat recorded 980 new cases during the last 24 hours. The recovery rate has reached 89.97%. More from our correspondent.
Gujarat has recorded 1,70,053 cases till now. Out of these, 1,52,995 patients recovered. 1,107 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 58,97,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 227 new cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 186 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 13,354, out of which 63 patients are on ventilator. 6 patients died yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 up to 3,704. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
Karnataka reported 3,146 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, taking the total number of cases to 8,12,784. At the same time, 7,384 people were discharged, taking the total number of recoveries to 7,33,558. Among 68,161 active cases, 939 patients are being monitored in the ICUs. The state conducted 86,154 tests, including 61,898 RT-PCR tests. With this, the total number of tests rose to 76,348. With 55 new deaths, the toll touched 11,046 yesterday. Bangalore urban reported 1,612 new cases, taking the tally to 3,30,862. Karnataka Primary and Secondary Education Minister Suresh Kumar has cautioned schools against violation of online classes norms. He has warned that schools violating the guidelines set by the state government's expert committee on online education will lose their recognition and face fines. The warning from the minister came after the state government received reports that some schools were holding online classes for prolonged hours, affecting the health, especially the eyesight, of young students. The expert committee has set the time limit for online classes. The screen time for students from pre-primary to grade 5 should be 30 minutes per session, and for grades 6th to 10th, it should be 45 minutes. The pre-primary students within the age group of 3 and 6 years are allowed 3 days of classes per week with 1 session per day, and those in grade 1 and 2 can have classes 3 days a week with 2 sessions per day.
In Tamil Nadu, the COVID-19 curve continues its downward movement for the past several weeks. The active caseload of patients yesterday came down further to 26,356. The number of new cases also dipped to 2,516, including 685 in Chennai. The case fatalities crossed the 11,000 mark yesterday with the death of 35 people. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister Edappadi Palanisamy has asked the district administrations and civic bodies to ensure that everyone wears face masks. He interacted with all the district collectors and medical experts yesterday. More from our correspondent.
The Chief Minister during his interactions observed that about 35% of the public are seemingly complacent on wearing face masks. He said it may hamper the efforts in controlling the pandemic and asked all concerned to ensure compliance on the safety protocol. Meanwhile, 25 of the 37 districts in the state recorded less than 50 new patients in the last 24 hours. As per the State Health Department's latest bulletin, 20 districts registered no loss of life at all, while 10 others reported 1 death each. 5 including Chennai and its 3 adjoining districts and Salem and Coimbatore have active caseloads of more than 1,000 each, but the numbers in all the other districts are in 3 digits only. Ariyalur, Perambalur and Theni have just 2-digit figures. The data shows an overall improvement against the COVID-19 pandemic. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
The first Indian to win 2 individual gold medals at the Summer Paralympics, Devendra Jhajaria, has appealed to people to follow 3 steps enumerated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to fight coronavirus. Talking to AIR News, Jhajaria said people should avoid crowded places in view of the festive season.
मैं देवेंद्र झाझरिया आप सभी से अपील करना चाहूँगा, इस कोरोना महामारी में भीड़ भाड़ वाले एरिया में बिल्कुल भी ना जाएं। बहुत ही जरूरी काम हो तभी आप घर से बाहर निकलें, और घर से बाहर निकले तो मास्क लगा के आप जरूर जाएं, और कम से कम 2 गज की दूरी रखें एक दूसरे व्यक्ति से आप।
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Over 53% of votes polled in the first phase of Bihar Assembly elections. President Ramnath Kovind promulgates ordinance to constitute Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and adjoining areas. COVID-19 recovery rate crosses 90% in the country. Active caseload falls below 8%. Foreign ministers of Central Asian countries welcome $1 billion line of credit by India for development in the region. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Royal Challengers Bangalore by 5 wickets in Abu Dhabi. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies, and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official.
The foreign ministers of Central Asian countries welcomed the provision by India of $1 billion line of credit for priority developmental projects in fields such as energy, IT, healthcare, education and agriculture in the region. The second meeting of the India-Central Asia Dialogue was held in the digital video conference format yesterday under the chairmanship of the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. Foreign ministers of Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, as well as the first deputy foreign minister of the Kyrgyz Republic, participated in the meeting. According to the joint statement of the meeting, the ministers emphasized the need to continue close cooperation between the sanitary and epidemiological services of India and the Central Asian countries in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. The statement added that the ministers emphasized the importance of concerted efforts to further expand trade and economic cooperation, including promoting direct ties between the businesses of India and the Central Asian countries. The ministers appreciated India's efforts to modernize the infrastructure of the Chabahar port in Iran, which could become an important link in trade and transport communications between the markets of Central and South Asia. They also strongly condemned terrorism in all its forms and manifestations and reaffirmed the determination of their countries to combat this menace by destroying terrorist safe havens, networks, infrastructure and funding channels. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has urged SCO countries to leverage their economic strength and explore partnerships that enhance trade and investment in the region. He was speaking yesterday at the 19th meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO ministers responsible for foreign economy and foreign trade activities through video conferencing. He said that cooperation should be continued to enhance intra-SCO trade and investment, which would be critical in ensuring speedy recovery from the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla will be on a 7-day visit to France, Germany and the United Kingdom from today. During his visit, Foreign Secretary will review bilateral relations and discuss matters of mutual interest and share Indian perspectives with his counterparts and with other key interlocutors. He will also interact with business persons, academics, intellectuals and media persons in these 3 countries. Ministry of External Affairs in a statement said that Mr. Shringla will discuss international cooperation in dealing with the ongoing pandemic and its consequences. The ministry said India's relations with France, Germany and UK are built on a foundation of shared democratic values and are informed by a commonality of interest in issues such as sustainable development and climate change. India strongly deplored the personal attacks in unacceptable language on President of France, Emmanuel Macron, in violation of the most basic standards of international discourse. In a statement, the External Affairs Ministry said India also condemned the brutal terrorist attack that took the life of a French teacher in a gruesome manner that has shocked the world. It said India offers the condolences to his family and the people of France. The ministry said there is no justification for terrorism for any reason or under any circumstance.
The Electronics and IT Ministry has said the Arogya Setu app was launched by the Government of India in public-private partnership mode to bring people of India together in its fight against COVID-19. The Ministry has issued a clarification regarding orders passed by the Central Information Commission on an RTI query with regard to Arogya Setu app. It said there should be no doubt with regard to the Arogya Setu app and its role in helping contain COVID-19 pandemic in India. The ministry said the names of all those associated with the development of the app and management of the app ecosystem at various stages were shared when the code was released in the public domain, and it was also shared widely in the media. It said the app has been developed in the most transparent manner and all details and documents, including privacy policy and Arogya Setu data access and knowledge sharing protocols issued on the 11th of May this year, has been uploaded on the Arogya Setu portal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the Ekta Divas celebrations to commemorate the birth anniversary of Lauh Purush Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel at Kevadia, Gujarat on the 31st of October. He will offer floral tributes at the Statue of Unity, administer the Ekta Pledge and witness the Ekta Divas parade on the occasion. As part of integrated development of Kevadia, Mr. Modi will inaugurate various projects on the 30th and 31st of October. These include the flag-off of the Ekta Cruise service to the Statue of Unity, the inauguration of the Ekta Mall and Children Nutrition Park. The Prime Minister will also launch the seaplane service connecting the Statue of Unity in Kevadia with Sabarmati riverfront in Ahmedabad.
According to a recent notification by the State Education Department, as many as 300 Zilla Parishad schools in Maharashtra will soon have better infrastructure, enhanced academic efforts and administrative parameters to make them model schools. The department has directed ZP education officers to send a list of the schools in their jurisdiction by the 6th of November. More in this report.
Principal Secretary of the State Education Department, Vandana Krishna, has said that as per this financial year budgetary allocation for the model schools, the first phase will have 300 schools from standard 1 to 7. These schools will get new approach roads, toilet, drinking water system, science lab and environment for era quality education and focus on reading, writing and mathematics. In the academic component of the model school, all necessary elements that would create a conductive atmosphere for education will be provided. Besides, the teacher will be instructed to teach beyond textbook, and reading, writing and maths topics should be thorough with the children in this component under this scheme. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
The State Bank of India signed a loan agreement amounting to up to $1 billion with the Japan Bank for International Cooperation, a company statement said in Mumbai yesterday. The loan is intended to promote the smooth flow of funds for the whole range of business operations of Japanese automobile manufacturers in India. As part of the agreement, $600 million will be financed by JBIC, while the remaining amount will be financed by other participating banks. The facility will be co-financed by SMBC, MUFG Bank, Mizuho Bank, Shizuoka Bank and Bank of Yokohama.
In IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Royal Challengers Bangalore by 5 wickets in Abu Dhabi last night. Kumar Yadav smashed an unbeaten 79 off 43 deliveries to help Mumbai Indians get across the line after being handed a target of 165. Today, Chennai Super Kings will take on Kolkata Knight Riders at 7:30 in the evening at Dubai International Stadium.
India's Divic Sharan and his partner Luke Bambridge of the United Kingdom beat Ariel Behar of Uruguay and Gonzalo Escobar of Ecuador to reach the men's doubles quarterfinals at the Astana Open in Kazakhstan. The Indo-British pair won the match 7-5, 4-6, 10-6 in 1 hour 30 minutes. Divic and Bambridge will now play today the second-seeded Australian pair of Max Purcell and Luke Saville at the ATP 250 tournament. In other second-round matches, American Francis Tiafoe took 1 hour 20 minutes to knock out second-seed Miomir Kekmanovic of Serbia 7-5, 6-3 in a battle of upcoming stars.
Now a look at the weather update for the day. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature was 12 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 31 degrees. The city will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature in Srinagar will hover between 1 and 21 degrees Celsius. Leh in Ladakh will have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was -7 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 14. Gilgit will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm, with temperature moving from 3 to 21 degrees. In Muzaffarabad, minimum temperature was 10 degrees, maximum will be around 28. The sky will be mainly clear. Chandigarh will witness mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 10 degrees, maximum around 27. The national capital, Delhi, will have a misty sky. Minimum temperature was recorded at 15 degrees. Maximum will be around 31. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Chennai there will be thunderstorm and rain. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature in the city was 24 degrees. Maximum will be around 32. And Ahmedabad, it will be a mainly clear sky. Guwahati witnessed a partly cloudy sky with haze. Minimum temperature in the city was 23. Maximum will be around 32 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Bihar voters defy Corona throng booths is the headline in the Pioneer. Despite COVID, Bihar Phase 1 turnout matches 2015 polling leads the Times of India. Army on vigil, China talks to continue, the Asian aid quotes Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The Tribune writes, troops standing firm at LAC, says Rajnath. Parliament panel lambasts Twitter for act of treason on showing Leh as part of China, reports the Hindustan Times. India-UK to set up bilateral sustainable finance forum, states the Tribune. Under the caption Lockdown Fears, the Financial Express writes, growing corona cases rattle global stocks. And finally, vaccine may be ready for use as early as December in India if government decides to opt for emergency authorization, and by January, even if it doesn't, the Times of India quotes Adar Poonawala, Chief of India Serum Institute. Syringe vial makers ramp up capacity amid vaccine hopes, notes the Business Standard.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Over 53% of votes polled in first phase of Bihar Assembly elections. President Ramnath Kovind promulgates ordinance to constitute Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and adjoining areas. COVID-19 recovery rate crosses 90% in the country. Active caseload falls below 8%. Foreign ministers of Central Asian countries welcome $1 billion line of credit by India for development in the region. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Royal Challengers Bangalore by 5 wickets in Abu Dhabi. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on the IR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.